Ladies, listen to me carefully, because I'm about to tell you something that will change the way you look at relationships forever. Now, I know y'all have been there. You've been texting, calling, checking your phone every 2 minutes, refreshing WhatsApp like it's a stock ticker, and nothing's happening. You're giving and giving and giving, and he's barely giving back. And you start thinking, am I too much? Am I not enough? What's wrong with me? Let me stop you right there. Nothing is wrong with you. The problem is that you're chasing a man who hasn't realized your value yet. And that's on him, not on you. Here's the truth, ladies. Men don't always respond to love and attention the way women do. Men operate differently. Men are wired to chase. Yes, I said it. Men are hunters by nature. And when you make yourself overly available, when you're texting, calling, reminding him that you're there, you're actually taking away the thing that makes him invest in you. It's not about being mean. It's not about playing games. It's about understanding the way men work and using that knowledge to your advantage. You see, absence creates value. If you've ever seen a man truly go after a woman, it's because he felt he might lose her. He realized that she's not just going to be sitting around waiting for him to make up his mind. That's power, ladies. That's the kind of power you need in your life. Now, I know what some of y'all are thinking. Steve, you don't understand. He's my man. I love him. I care about him. If I don't text him, he'll forget about me. Oh, no. That's where you're wrong. Let me tell you something about men. If he's the right one, if he truly cares, he's not going to forget you. He's not going to disappear because you decided to stop chasing him. In fact, the opposite will happen. He's going to start noticing the space you've created, the life you've started to live without him constantly on your mind. And that's when he'll begin to chase you. You've got to let him feel what it's like to be without your attention, because attention is like oxygen. You don't realize how much you need it until it's gone. And let me be clear. This isn't about punishing him. This isn't about being manipulative or petty. This is about self-respect. You are worth more than someone who doesn't put in the effort to show you that you matter. You are not a convenience. You are a priority. And if he's not acting like you're a priority, it's time to step back. Stop texting him first. Stop calling. Stop checking up on him. And let him come to you. It's amazing what happens when a woman stops giving her energy to someone who doesn't deserve it. I've seen it happen hundreds of times, and I promise you, it works every single time. Let me tell you a story. I had a friend, let's call her Lisa. Lisa was obsessed with this guy, okay? She would text him morning, noon, and night. She'd call him, leave him messages, send cute little memes, and still nothing. He was distant. He was hot and cold. And she was losing herself in the process. I said, Lisa, you're giving him too much, and he's not even realizing it. You need to stop. She looked at me like I had two heads. But Steve, if I don't, he'll think I don't care. I laughed. Because that's exactly what men do. They assume we'll always be there, and until they feel a real absence, they won't appreciate it. I told her, stop texting, stop calling, live your life. Let him wonder about you. Let him realize that he might actually lose something valuable. And you know what happened? Within 2 weeks, he was calling her, asking her out, and telling her he couldn't stop thinking about her. That's what absence does. That's what stopping the chase does. Now, I want you to really hear me. You've got to be disciplined. I know it's hard. Your mind is going to fight you. You're going to want to text him to say something cute, to drop a hint, to remind him that you exist. That's normal. That's human. But discipline is what separates women who get played from women who get respect. Discipline is what allows you to take your power back. You've got to resist that urge. Every time you feel like sending that text, take a deep breath, Remind yourself of your worth and walk away. Go do something else. Call a friend. Work out. Go shopping. Invest in yourself. The moment you start living your life fully, the man who's supposed to be in it will start to notice, and the ones who aren't meant for you will fade away. And that's how you protect your energy. Let's talk about why this works. When a man sees a woman who's always available, he doesn't value her as much. There's no challenge. There's no excitement. There's no mystery. But when you step back, when you create a little distance, suddenly he's thinking about you more. He's imagining you in situations without him. He's wondering what you're doing, who you're talking to, and why you're not chasing him. That curiosity, that desire, that's powerful. That's what makes a man go crazy in love. That's what makes him realize, I need her. I want her. I can't let her go. And ladies, I promise you, it works better than any text, call, or cute emoji you could ever send. Another thing to remember, absence is not just about silence. It's about presence in your own life. Too many women get caught up waiting for a man to call, to text, to acknowledge them. And while they're waiting, their own lives are standing still. Don't let that happen. You need to show up for yourself. Go after your dreams. Build your career. Spend time with friends and family and do the things that make you happy. When you live a full, vibrant life, you radiate energy that is irresistible. You become magnetic. And that's when men start to pay attention, not because you forced it, but because you stopped forcing him. I know some of y'all are thinking, but Steve, what if he never called? Listen, if he never calls, if he never comes around, then you've just saved yourself from wasting years of your life on someone who wasn't ready, willing, or able to treat you right. That's the beauty of stepping back. You're not losing anything. You're gaining clarity, respect, and a deeper sense of self-worth. You're protecting your heart, your energy, and your peace of mind. And ladies, let me tell you something. Peace of mind is priceless. Nothing is more attractive than a woman who is at peace with herself and refuses to settle for less than she deserves. Here's the kicker. Once you stop chasing, once you stop texting and calling, something amazing happens. Men start to see you differently. They start to respect your boundaries. They start to value your time. They start to understand that if they want you in their life, they've got to work for it. That's not manipulation, that's natural law. People value what they have to work for. And if a man truly cares about you, he will rise to the occasion. He will step up. He will show you that he wants to be there. And if he doesn't, then guess what? He's not your man. And that's okay. Because now you have the space to find the right one who will cherish you, respect you, and love you the way you deserve. So remember this, ladies. Stop chasing. Stop texting. Stop calling. Create that absence. Live your life. Focus on yourself. Be disciplined. Be magnetic. And watch how the dynamics change. Watch how he starts to realize what he's missing. Watch how he begins to chase you instead of you chasing him. And most importantly, watch yourself grow stronger, more confident, and more in love with the woman staring back at you in the mirror. That's the power of absence. That's the power of not chasing. That's the power of respecting yourself enough to let him come to you. And I promise you, if you do it right, he will go crazy, crazy in love, crazy about you, crazy because he finally understands that he can't take you for granted. Ladies, I want you to pay attention to this because this is where most women go wrong when it comes to relationships. They focus so much on the man that they forget about themselves. They spend all their energy trying to impress, trying to please, trying to be everything to him. And in the process, they lose themselves. Now, I'm not saying don't care about your man. I'm saying don't care so much that you forget who you are, what you want, and what you deserve. Confidence and self-growth, this is where the real power lies. When you focus on improving yourself, growing as a person, and being the best version of you, that's when the magic happens. That's when men start noticing you in a completely different way. You see, confidence is magnetic. Confidence is attractive. And I'm not talking about fake confidence. I'm talking about deep, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing who you are, knowing your worth, and refusing to settle for anything less than you deserve. Too many women tie their self-esteem to a man's attention, a text, a call, or some small gesture that has nothing to do with your real value. That's dangerous. That's how you get hurt. That's how you end up anxious, insecure, and constantly wondering if he really cares. But when you focus on yourself, when you invest in your own growth, you stop needing validation from someone else. You stop being desperate for attention. And guess what? That's exactly what makes a man go crazy. He starts to see you as a woman who's independent, strong, and desirable, not someone he can control or manipulate. Let me tell you a story about a woman named Carla. Carla was dating this guy for a few months, and she was constantly texting him, always available, always eager, always putting his needs before her own. And naturally, he took her for granted. He never initiated plans. He never showed up when she needed him. And he certainly didn't make her feel valued. I sat her down and told her, Carla, you've got to stop looking at him like he's the center of your universe. You've got to start putting yourself first. Focus on your growth, your goals, your confidence. Invest in you. At first, she was hesitant. She didn't understand how focusing on herself could change the dynamics between them. But she tried it. She stopped texting first. She started going to the gym, took up classes she'd always wanted to do, spent time with her friends, and even started a new hobby that made her feel alive. And let me tell you something, her life changed almost immediately. He started noticing. He started asking what she was doing, wanting to spend time with her, and trying to impress her. Why? Because when a woman stops being available 24/7, starts living a vibrant, fulfilling life, she becomes irresistible. That's power. That's confidence. That's self-growth in action. Ladies, let me be real with you. Self-growth isn't just about looking good or having a career. It's about cultivating a mindset that refuses to settle, that refuses to be defined by someone else, and that knows its own value. It's about waking up every day and asking yourself, how can I be better today than I was yesterday? Maybe it's learning a new skill. Maybe it's improving your health. Maybe it's work on your emotional intelligence. Or maybe it's building financial independence. Whatever it is, do it for you. Because when you do it for yourself, you naturally radiate confidence, strength, and joy, and men are drawn to that energy. Men want to be around women who are whole, complete, and thriving. They don't want someone who's empty and constantly seeking approval. That's not attractive. That's exhausting. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Steve, what if he doesn't notice? What if he doesn't care? Listen to me. You're not doing this for him. You're doing this for yourself. You're growing, learning, and becoming the woman you've always wanted to be. If he notices, that's great. If he doesn't, that's okay too. Because the right man will not only notice, he'll be drawn to your confidence and your growth. He'll respect it, he'll admire it, and he'll want to be a part of it. And the men who aren't meant for you, they'll fall away, and that's fine. Because now you have more space and more energy for the right one to come in. Let's talk about confidence for a moment. Confidence is not arrogance, and it's not about acting like you don't care. Confidence is about knowing that you are enough, that you are worthy, and that you don't need anyone to complete you. Confidence is walking into a room and owning it, knowing that you bring value simply by being yourself. Confidence is refusing to chase someone who isn't willing to invest in you. Confidence is setting boundaries and saying, I deserve respect, and I won't settle for less. And ladies, let me tell you, confidence is sexy. Men are drawn to it naturally. They sense it, they respect it, and they want to be around it. Self-growth and confidence also protect you from heartbreak. When you are secure in who you are, when you have a strong sense of self, don't get swept up in toxic relationships or people who don't appreciate you. You don't settle for crumbs or empty promises. You have standards and you stick to them. And the amazing thing is, when you focus on your own growth, when you invest in yourself, life has a way of rewarding you. Opportunities open up, people respect you more. And yes, your love life improves too, because men are naturally drawn to women who have their own lives, who are passionate, who are motivated, and who aren't dependent on anyone else for their happiness. That's magnetic energy, and it's irresistible. Let me tell you another story. There was a woman named Denise. Denise was in a relationship where she constantly tried to please her man, and it got her nowhere. She was exhausted, unhappy, and frustrated. I told her, Denise, you need to stop focusing so much on him and start focusing on yourself. Go after your dreams, build your confidence, and grow as a person. She started small. She joined a book club, started exercising regularly, and even took a professional course she'd been putting off for years. As she grew, she became more confident, more radiant, and more self-assured. And you know what happened? The man who barely noticed her before started pursuing her, trying to impress her, and treating her with the respect she deserved. Not because she manipulated him, not because she played games, but because she had grown into a woman who radiated self-respect, confidence, and value. That's what I want for every woman listening to me. That's what focusing on self-growth and confidence does. It transforms your life and your relationships. Ladies, I know it's not easy. I know it requires effort, discipline, and sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone. But the rewards are enormous. Confidence and self-growth aren't just tools to attract the right man. They're tools to attract the right life. They help you make better decisions, set healthier boundaries, and create a life filled with joy, purpose, and fulfillment. And the best part, when you are confident and continually growing, you naturally filter out the wrong people. You don't waste time on men who don't deserve you because your energy and presence demand respect. And here's the kicker. Men love a woman who is invested in herself, a woman who has her own life, her own goals, her own passions. It's not intimidating, it's attractive. It shows that you have standards, that you are self-sufficient, and that you value yourself. And when a man sees that, he wants to rise to your level. He wants to match your energy. He wants to be with someone who challenges him, inspires him, and keeps him on his toes. Confidence and self-growth aren't just about you. They elevate the entire relationship. They change the dynamic in a way that makes him see you as someone truly special. So ladies, let me leave you with this thought. Focus on yourself. Grow every day. Invest in your confidence, your skills, your passions, and your happiness. Stop tying your self-worth to a man's attention. When you do this, everything changes. You become magnetic. You become irresistible. You attract the right people and repel the wrong ones. And most importantly, you become the woman you were always meant to be: strong, confident, independent, and full of life. That's the power of self-growth and confidence. And when you embrace it, you'll not only watch him go crazy, you'll watch yourself rise to heights you never imagined possible. Ladies, let me tell you something real, because this is where most women get it all wrong in relationships. They assume that love, attention, and effort are automatic. They assume that if a man says he cares, if he texts sometimes, if he shows up occasionally, that's enough. But that is not enough. You see, words are cheap. Ladies, anyone can talk a big game. Anyone can make promises. Anyone can say, I love you, or I'm here for you, or you're special to me. But actions Actions don't lie. Actions show intention. Actions reveal character. And in relationships, you must demand proof of effort. You must see him showing up consistently. You must know he's putting in the work to be in your life. Otherwise, you are just playing yourself. Now, I know some of y'all are thinking, Steve, isn't that too much? Shouldn't love be unconditional? Hold up. I'm not talking about conditional love. I'm talking about self-respect and clarity. If a man truly values you, he will put in effort. He will call, he will communicate, he will plan, he will prioritize. If he doesn't, that's your signal to step back, to pause, and to reevaluate. You see, too many women get lost in the idea of love without seeing reality. They confuse infatuation and attention for commitment. They confuse temporary charm for long-term investment. And that's why so many women end up frustrated, heartbroken, and feeling unappreciated. You cannot afford to do that. You cannot settle for less than you deserve. Let me give you an example. I know a woman named Monique. Monique was in a relationship for over a year with a man who talked a lot, said all the right things, and promised her the world. But when it came to actions, she saw very little. He never initiated plans, he never put in consistent effort, and he always expected her to make all the moves. I told her, Monique, he's not showing you proof. He's not putting in the work. You have to demand it. She looked at me like I was speaking another language. She said, Steve, I don't want to be controlling. I just want to love him. I said, sweetheart, this is not controlling. This is not about being mean. This is about seeing reality. If he's not putting in effort, he's showing you who he is. Don't ignore it. She decided to test it. She stopped doing everything for him for a little while and waited to see if he would step up. Within a few weeks, he either started showing effort or faded away. And that's the moment she realized who was serious about her and who wasn't. That's the moment she started to demand proof of effort in all her relationships. And let me tell you, it changed her life. Ladies, demanding proof of effort is not a punishment. It's a necessity. Think about it this way. If you are investing your time, your energy, your love, and your heart into someone, don't you deserve to know that they are investing the same in you? Don't you deserve to see consistency, commitment, and action? Of course you do. And if he's not showing it, that's a reflection of him, not of you. You are not asking for too much. You are asking for clarity, respect, and honesty. That's what proof of effort is. It's the standard you set to protect yourself from being taken for granted. Now, let's get practical. How do you demand proof of effort without being confrontational or appearing high maintenance? First, observe his actions, not just his words. If he says he's going to call, does he call? If he says he's going to show up, does he show up? If he says he's thinking of you, does he make it evident through his behavior? Actions always speak louder than words. Second, set boundaries. Let him know that you will not tolerate inconsistency. You don't have to yell. You don't have to argue. You don't have to beg. Simply live your life fully and allow his actions or lack thereof to speak for themselves. Third, hold him accountable. If he wants to be a part of your life, he must invest in it. He must show up emotionally, mentally, and physically. And if he doesn't, that's your cue to step away. I know some of you are thinking, Steve, what if he tries, but he fails sometimes? Look, I'm not talking about perfection. Nobody's perfect. What I am talking about is consistent effort, small gestures that show he cares, reaching out without being asked, making plans without being reminded, being present when you need him. That's proof of effort. And if he can't do that, if he consistently falls short, then you have to ask yourself a hard question. Is he really invested in you, or is he just comfortable Are you really a priority or are you just an option? Let me tell you another story. There was a woman named Tanya. Tanya loved this man. She cared for him deeply. But she was exhausted from doing everything, planning dates, texting, calling, and keeping the relationship alive on her own. One day, she finally said to herself, enough is enough. I need to see proof of effort. She told him that she needed consistency, that she needed to see that he was serious, that she couldn't continue carrying the relationship alone. To her surprise, he stepped up. He made an effort. He planned dates. He communicated better. And he showed her that he valued her. That's what happens when you demand proof of effort. It either clarifies his intentions or reveals the truth. And either way, you win. Because now you know exactly where you stand. Ladies, let me give you a piece of advice that I hope sticks with you forever. Love is not enough on its own. Love without effort is just wishful thinking. You can love a man with all your heart, but if he doesn't show up for you, if he doesn't invest, if he doesn't put in the work, that love will leave you feeling empty. You must see his action. You must see his commitment. You must demand proof of effort. Anything less is settling, and settling is a trap that steals your energy, your confidence, and your peace of mind. Now, here's the beauty of demanding proof of effort. It changes the dynamic of the relationship. When a man realizes that you expect him to show up, to invest, and to prove that he cares, he starts to step up. He starts to act in ways he never thought he had to. He starts being intentional. He starts realizing that you are not someone to take for granted. And that, ladies, is powerful. That's how you change the trajectory of your love life. That's how you ensure that the people in your life truly value you. I want to be honest with you, though. Demanding proof of effort is not always easy. It requires courage, clarity, and sometimes uncomfortable conversations. It requires you to look at the relationship objectively and ask yourself, am I getting what I need? Am I being valued? Am I being respected? And when the answer is no, you have to have the strength to act, to set boundaries, and to hold your standards. That's not arrogance. That's self-respect. That's wisdom. And ladies, men will respect it. Even if they initially resist, eventually they will recognize that a woman who demands proof of effort is a woman of value, and they will rise to meet her. Let me tell you this one last thing. There is nothing more attractive than a woman who knows her worth and refuses to settle. There is nothing more powerful than a woman who sees through empty promises and requires consistent effort. There is nothing more magnetic than a woman who protects her heart and her energy by demanding clarity and respect. And when you do this, not only do you see who truly values you, but you also stop wasting time on men who don't. You stop chasing those who are not committed. You stop giving your love to people who are not willing to fight for it. And that, ladies, is how you create the kind of love life you've always wanted. So remember this, love is beautiful, but it's not enough. Words are sweet, but they don't prove anything. Actions reveal the truth. Consistency proves intention. Effort proves commitment. And if he can't show you proof of effort, then you have to have the courage to walk away, to pause, to demand better, and to wait for someone who's willing to meet you at your level. Because anything less than that, ladies, is not enough. And you are worth everything. Ladies, listen to me carefully. Because this is where most women miss the magic in relationships. They think talking, texting, calling, explaining, and justifying themselves will solve everything. They believe that if they keep talking, keep giving, keep explaining, the man will finally understand, will finally show up, will finally commit. But I'm here to tell you something that will change The way you approach love forever, silence speaks volumes. Yes, I said it. It's sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. Sometimes the best message you can send is through your absence, through your quiet strength, through your refusal to chase what is not being offered to you. And when you embrace that silence, watch how the dynamics change. Watch how he starts to notice, starts to wonder, starts to question, starts to realize your worth. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Steve, how can being quiet solve anything? Won't he just forget about me? Oh, no. That's the mistake most women make. They confuse silence with ignoring or punishing. Silence, in this context, is power. Silence is respect for yourself. Silence is letting your actions or lack of action speak for you. When you stop talking, stop chasing, stop explaining, you create a space where he has to confront reality. He has to face the fact that you are not just going to be waiting around. He has to see the value of your presence, the energy you bring, the love and care you offer. And that realization, that's what drives him crazy in the best way. Let me tell you a story. I know a woman named Rachel. Rachel was constantly texting, calling, and reminding her man that she was there. She was overinvested, emotionally exhausted, and frustrated. And yet, he still took her for granted. He wasn't putting in the effort. I said to her, Rachel, you got to start talking. You got to step back. Let him feel the absence. Let him realize what he's missing. At first, she was scared. She didn't want to lose him, but she trusted the process. She stopped texting first, stopped calling, and stopped explaining herself. She focused on her life, her friends, her hobbies, her goals. And within a few weeks, he started reaching out. He started asking questions. He started initiating plans. He began to realize that he had taken her for granted, and that realization shook him to the core. That, ladies, is the power of silence. That's how it works. Silence is not about being cold. Silence is not about playing games. Silence is about self-respect and boundaries. It's about saying without words, I am valuable. I am worthy. I am not going to chase someone who doesn't see my worth. And when a man sees that, when he feels that, it triggers something in him. Suddenly, he starts to notice the little things. Suddenly, he starts to pay attention. Suddenly, he starts to appreciate you in ways he never did before. Because human nature is wired to value what is scarce. When you are always available, when you are constantly present, your energy is taken for granted. But when you step back, when you embrace silence, your energy becomes magnetic. It becomes desirable. It becomes something he cannot ignore. Let me give you another example. There was a woman named Jasmine. Jasmine was tired of chasing her man. She was tired of always initiating plans, always making the effort, always being the one to keep the relationship alive. I told her, Jasmine, stop. Stop texting, stop calling, stop trying to make him see what you already know about yourself. Let him come to you. And she did it. She embraced the silence. She lived her life fully. She smiled more. She laughed more. She radiated joy and confidence. And you know what happened? He started calling, started texting, started showing up in ways he never did before. Not because she manipulated him. Not because she played mind games, but because her silence spoke volumes. Her absence communicated more than her words ever could. Her peace and her confidence became irresistible. Ladies, this works in so many ways. Silence creates reflection. Silence creates curiosity. Silence creates respect. When a man doesn't hear from you every day, when he doesn't have constant access to your attention, he starts to reflect on what you mean to him. He starts to ask himself questions like, why isn't she texting me? Why isn't she calling? Why isn't she available like she used to be? And that reflection can lead to desire, appreciation, and ultimately action. That's the magic of silence. That's the leverage you've been missing. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Steve, isn't this risky? What if he leaves for good? Listen, the right man won't leave. The right man will step up. The right man will see your value, respect your boundaries, and match your energy. If he leaves, then he was never meant to be there in the first place. And that's okay, because silence protects your heart, protects your energy, and protects your peace. Silence allows you to see clearly who is genuinely invested and who is just comfortable taking without giving. That clarity is priceless. Silence also allows you to build your own life. Too many women are stuck in relationships, waiting, hoping, stressing, and sacrificing their own joy for someone who may not deserve it. But when you embrace silence, when you stop over-communicating, you regain your focus. You start doing the things you've always wanted to do. You start investing in your growth, your health, your hobbies, and your dreams. And as you do, your energy shifts. You become radiant, magnetic, and alive. And men can't help but notice. Men are naturally drawn to women who have their own lives, who are confident, who are thriving. And that attraction, that's real, that's powerful, that's irresistible. Let me tell you another story. There was a woman named Angela. Angela was frustrated in her relationship. She felt invisible, unappreciated, and drained. She constantly tried to explain herself, constantly tried to get him to understand her, constantly tried to make him care. I told her, Angela, stop, step back. Let silence do the talking. Stop chasing. Live your life. And she did. She embraced silence. She focused on herself. She laughed more. And she started thriving. And within weeks, he started noticing. He started reaching out. He started showing interest. He began to act in ways he never did before. That's the power of silence. It communicates strength, value, and self-respect in a way that words never can. Ladies, silence also creates patience. It allows you to wait for the right energy, the right effort, the right man. It allows you to stop settling for empty promises, half-hearted gestures, and inconsistent attention. Silence teaches you to value yourself, to honor your boundaries, and to demand respect. And when you combine silence with self-growth, confidence, and clarity, you become unstoppable. You become a woman who knows her worth, who refuses to settle, and who attracts the kind of love she deserves. I know some of you are worried about the awkwardness of silence. You're afraid of being misunderstood, of being seen as cold or distant. Let me tell you something, your energy speaks louder than your words. When you are at peace, when you are thriving, when you are confident, people feel it, they sense it, and the right man will respect it. The wrong man will be filtered out naturally. Silence is not passive, it is active power. Silence is an invitation for reflection. Silence is a statement of self-respect. Silence is magnetic. And here's the ultimate truth. You don't have to beg, explain, or chase to be valued. You don't have to send endless texts, make constant calls, or over-communicate to prove your love or commitment. The right man will notice your presence, value your energy, and meet you where you are. And if he doesn't, then silence becomes your shield, your tool, and your truth. It allows you to step back, to preserve your energy, and to wait for someone who deserves it. So ladies, remember this. Silence speaks volumes. Your absence, your quiet confidence, your refusal to chase all communicate more than words ever could. It shows your value, it demands respect, and it triggers realization. It allows men to see what they've been taking for granted. It protects your heart, your energy, and your peace. And most importantly, it empowers you to live your life fully, to grow, to thrive, and to attract the love you truly deserve. Embrace the power of silence and watch the transformation unfold not just in him, but in yourself.